Hi, and welcome everybody to another edition of the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Podcast. My name is Ross Benjamin of RBWins.com, and like every Wednesday, and it is Wednesday, November 2nd, I'm joined by an iconic figure in the sports betting industry, and I know that makes him shun when I give him those kind of accolades, but it's true. Big Al McMordie, who's perennially one of the best handicappers in the country across the board, not just in football, basketball, and baseball as well. Al, how are you today?
Doing great. It's my favorite time of year. We've got college basketball coming up next week. I've already entered the games from Monday in my database, so it's going to be fun times ahead.
Yeah, there's no lines on those games yet on Monday, though, correct?
No lines, that's correct. But I mean, I put in all the matchups and I do all the conference changes. I don't know if you've gotten to that point yet, but there are
No.
24 college basketball teams that have changed conference affiliation and or moved up or down from Division One. So lots of stuff we have to do for our database. Ross and I share the same basketball database. So one of the things we have to do each year is, make changes to the teams.
Yes, it's 4D handicapping software. And if you're interested in knowing what that's about, Al has a nice article. You can get that right on the footer of his homepage. It was written by ESPN back 2003, Al?
2010.
2010, even more recent. So again, folks, that's not available to the general public. There's only about 20 of us in the country, and I think that might even be too many that possess this. And it's been a good handicapping tool for me, and I know Al swears by it. So, and his results speak volumes as well as mine. Anyway, Al, you could find, excuse me, folks, you could find Al's picks at bigal.com. That's bigal.com. And Al, tell the folks how you've been doing.
Been doing great. It's another winning football season, especially in the NFL. NFL's been last year. College football was better. This year, the NFL's been better. It changes every year, of course. But I have won the last 10, so this will be the last 11 years in a row in the NFL if we keep it going. And I've won 22 of the last 30, NFL and college football seasons combined. But yeah, it's been going fine. We swept the board on Sunday in the NFL, going 4-0. So.
Nice.
Yeah, I've already posted my NFL plays for this upcoming weekend, at the website, bigal.com, including my NFL game of the month. So if folks want to drop by, just go to bigal.com. Then it's not just myself, we've got 20 handicappers there and a lot of free plays, a lot of great articles. It's a good website.
Very good. That's bigal.com. And like he said, he's got 20 other handicappers there. I'm part of his affiliate site, which is pickadvisor.com. A lot of good handicappers there as well. And a very good record for me in the NFL at Pick Advisor, 48-34, dating back to last season with my NFL picks. This year, NFL regular season picks, 30-21 thus far, Al, 59%. I'll take that because that'll make you a lot of money. I lost my first NFL 10-star top play last week on the LA Rams, but still off a 3-2 week in the NFL, 3-2 week in college football. Not great, but I'll take it.
Nice. That is great. What are you talking about?
Yeah. I mean,
as a handicapper, we understand how good that is.
Yes, absolutely. But I did have Louisville on Saturday as my 10-star top play, and they just absolutely annihilated Wake Forest, thanks to 7 turnovers by Wake Forest in the third quarter. I don't think I've ever seen that, Al. Unbelievable.
Well, there was what was the team, Miami, Florida, the week before had 8 turnovers.
Yes, that's correct, but not 7 in one quarter. Like
no, not in one quarter.
That's hard to do. I mean, even if there's a payoff there for the team given the turnovers, that's hard to do. Anyway, so there you go. You can find me at rbwins.com. That's my website, and my picks are guaranteed. Meaning if you don't win, you don't make a profit, you're not going to get your money back, but I will give you a credit to your account for the exact amount of the purchase price. All right, Al, I'm really looking forward to this breakdown for the folks and myself as Tennessee and Georgia square off in Athens on Saturday. And boy, oh boy, ironically, Tennessee takes over the number 1 slot in the country, leapfrogs Georgia, the same week that they're facing off. So just want to hear your thoughts.
Well, Georgia brings the better defense into this game. It's giving up just 10.5 points per game. Tennessee is allowing 21 points per game. The Volunteers, on the other hand, have the better offense. They're scoring 49.3. Georgia's averaging just 41.7. And Ross, it's often said that defense wins championships. And a lot of times people say things that actually aren't true. Well, this is one of those things that actually is true. And football defense does win championships. And for this matchup, consider that in matchups of unbeaten teams with records of 6-0 or better, teams that have the better defense going back to 1980 have covered the spread 60% of the time. In matchups of unbeaten teams with the worst offense have covered the spread 63% of the time. And if you have both the better defense and the worst offense, you've covered 71%. I like Georgia in this matchup. I'm going to lay the points.
Yeah, it's write that down, folks, because it's not about who you think is going to win the game. Who do you think is going to cover the game? It's about sometimes you have to look at situational stuff. And what he just said, it makes a lot of sense. So 71% of the time when you have the team with the worst offense
and the better defense.
And both teams are undefeated in game 7+, Al?
Yeah, records of 6-0 or better, so game 7 forward.
Yeah. All right, so there you go. He likes Georgia minus the 8 against Tennessee, and I don't blame him because I might be on the same play on the pay side, just to let you know ahead of time, folks. See how nice I am? Anyway, I'm going to take a look at Texas Tech at TCU. That game goes at noon Eastern. Right now, TCU's a 9.5-point favorite. Look, when I first looked at the board this week, I always put an X next to a team that I think might be my play or something to at least look at seriously. I put an X next to Texas Tech because they were coming off this embarrassing home favorite loss to Baylor. Well, after further research and dabbling into our 4D handicapping software, I changed my mind. I'm allowed to do that. And Texas Tech, a much better team at home than they've been on the road, especially in Big 12 action. You're looking at Texas Tech right now, 1-8 straight up and 2-7 against the spread as an away underdog of 3.5 to 10 in their last 9 in that role. Also 0-3 straight up on the road this year and failed to cover 2 of those 3 road games. And by the way, they allowed in those 3 road games 35 points per contest. That's an issue because TCU, who is undefeated at this present time with an 8-0 record, at home this year, TCU is averaging just a shade under 49 points per game and 576 yards per contest in their 4 home games. And why I mention all that? Because you got a great offense against a team that plays very little defense on the road and, quite frankly, maybe at home too, because they gave up 45 to Baylor at home last week in a game they just got totally blown out. I think 45-17 was the final. And TCU +6 turnover differential, Texas Tech -6 turnover differential, undefeated conference home favorites of 8-39, Al, a broad parameter. Game 8+ undefeated, coming off a conference win by 10 points or more. TCU is coming off that 41-31 win at West Virginia last week, and they scored 35 or more, which I just alluded to. And they're facing an opponent coming off a straight-up favorite loss, like Texas Tech is against Baylor. Those undefeated conference home favorites of 8-39 in that exact scenario have gone 12-0 straight up in ATS since 1995. Not a lot of examples, not a big sample size, but it was enough for me because the average margin of victory in those 12 games, 35.7 points per game. I think TCU gets out of this funk that they've been winning by 8 or less, which I think their last 5 wins have been. I think this is a right situation. I think it's a bad matchup for Texas Tech. I'm going to lay the 9.5 with TCU over Texas Tech on Saturday. Any thoughts, Al, what you might have coming up this week for the customers?
Well, I haven't finished my college football work yet. That, I will do the rest of tonight and get that going. The NFL is already loaded. I've got my NFL game of the month. I've got my NFL division total of the month. And then I've got a third NFL play as well, all posted for Sunday action. And today on Wednesday, I'm featuring NBA and hockey. I've got a triple pack in basketball, and then I've got one play on the ice in hockey, passing in baseball today.
Yeah, the World Series. Yeah, go figure. I mean, Philadelphia yesterday, 7-0. Boy, oh boy, talk about a team that's on a roll. Anyway,
Yeah,
I mean, who would a lot of the pundits out there picking Houston to sweep this series. The one thing about the Phillies that shocks me, is their bullpen, how good it's been during the postseason and how horrible they've been during regular season action over the last 2 years. Not over yet by any stretch of the imagination, Al. But
no, it's funny how the storylines change. Now everyone wants to bury Houston, but they're only one game down. They can get right back in it and have Verlander go in Game 5 if they win tonight. So who the hell knows?
Yeah,
but I'm going to pass in the baseball. I'm just going to enjoy it as a fan.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, folks, you don't have to bet every game, especially just because it's the World Series. If you don't like the game, you don't bet it. You don't force a play. And I think Al would advocate for that as well. Anyway, until the next time, which will be next Wednesday, I will be back tomorrow with Doug Upstone at DocSports.com. But Big Al will be back with us next Wednesday. Don't forget his website, BigAl.com. One of the finest handicappers, not only in the country, but in the world. Okay. When it comes to sports handicapping, you could find me at rbwins.com. For Big Al and Ross Benjamin, I'd like to wish each and every one of you all the very best. Good luck and God bless, folks.